but there is a tendency more broadly, say in the mindfulness movement, the well-being movement, personal development, to present these theologically underwritten ancient techniques in the context of their efficacy in rather more modern constructs, i.e., to simplify it, meditate and you will become more successful, meditate and you, that kind of thing.
That I don't like. I mean, well, I can't say I don't like. The fact of the matter is, transcendental meditation goes back over 5,000 years. It's been available and lost and available and lost. And it always has to, meditation always has to be taught in the language of the time, in the vocabulary of the time and the need of the time. Otherwise, it becomes obscure and irrelevant. So the beautiful thing about real, accurate, true meditation is there's no division between spirituality and consciousness, between mental clarity, between physical health, between self-awareness. It's one continuum. There's not a barrier between the mind and the body and the heart and spiritual aspirations. They're all connected. So if you have a meditation practice that addresses one thing, it's going to address all things simultaneously. That said, if you have a meditation practice that's going to say, you do this mindfulness thing, and then you're going to be more cutthroat in the marketplace, well, I question the validity of that particular type of meditation that would be so selective. It's not holistic. You pull one leg on a chair, and all the other legs come. If you start to meditate and transcend for the purpose of maybe you have high blood pressure, you have migraine headaches, well, you're also going to wake up the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that is associated with your sense of self, your spiritual self. So it's all one thing.
Yeah, right. I see. You dispute that there are all these divisions, and you think just by teaching people to meditate, they will discover organically.
Yeah, I mean, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who introduced TM, said a person learning to meditate because they have high blood pressure is just a back door to enlightenment. Everything is going to come. All the benefits will come. So whatever the reason is, it's hard to talk to a person about enlightenment if they have migraine headaches. So they learn to transcend, their headaches go, and at the same time, all the other qualities of the brain, all the other qualities of the heart, all the qualities of emotion also unfold and flourish at the same time.
Why do you think that is? Why does meditation change people?
Well, again, we have to be careful. Meditation writ large, you can't say all meditations are the same, like you can't say all medicines are the same, all vitamins are the same. So there are different approaches according to science. There's three basic types of meditation. One is called focused attention, which is a concentration form of meditation. Another is called open monitoring. That's many mindfulness techniques. And then the third is self-transcending. And if you want, I can go a little bit into each one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the analogy that I use, and I've told you many times, is of the ocean. You're on a little boat and you're in the middle of the ocean, and all of a sudden you get these giant 30, 40, 50-foot high waves, and you could think the whole ocean is in upheaval. But actually, if you did a cross-section, you'd realize the ocean is well over, miles deep. And while the nature of the ocean may be turbulent on the surface, the nature of the ocean at its depth is pretty darn silent. So according to, you could say the mind is similar. The surface of our mind, is this interesting to you?
Yeah, really. Everything you say is interesting.
So the surface of the mind, the choppy tsunami-esque, some traditions call that the monkey mind. And the monkey is just wandering all over the place, and you have to stop it. You have to corral it. The nature of the mind is to wander. You have to stop it. I like to call it the gotta mind. I got to do this, and I got to do that, and I got to call him, and I got to call her, and I got to make a list, I got to find the list, got to slow down, all the gottas. And it's a natural human desire. Everyone, I don't care where you live, what you're religious or philosophical or economic, I'd like to have some inner calm, some inner clarity, some inner equanimity. And the operative word there is inner. And the question is there such a thing as an inner? And if so, how do you get there? And now, Russell, I'm getting to your question on meditation.
And those three types.
Three types. And the first type is called focused attention. And focused attention says, using the ocean analogy, if you want to have a calm ocean What is a disruptor of calm? Waves. So stop the waves, and then you'll have a calm ocean. If you want to have a calm mind, what disrupts a calm mind? Thought. Stop thought. So focused attention, Vipassana is one of these, where you just concentrate and focus on a point in your body, on an emotion, on a thought. When you do that, it creates something called gamma brain waves, which are 20 to 50 cycles per second, your brain working hard. The second approach is called open monitoring. Open monitoring is many mindfulness techniques, as I said. That says thoughts are not necessarily the disruptor of calm, but the content of thoughts can be the disruptor of calm. So if I have a thought about a guy named Joe and I don't know anybody named Joe, But if I have a thought about a guy named Joe and 10 years ago, Joe done me wrong. So open monitoring teaches me to dispassionately observe my thoughts, my moods, be in the present, be mindful, don't be in the past. When you do that, it creates theta brainwaves. TM, Transcendental Meditation, is a third type, and that's self-transcending. And that says thoughts are fine, the ocean is fine, waves on the ocean are fine. Where's the ocean naturally calm? At its depth. Where's the mind naturally calm? We hypothesize deep within everyone is a transcendent level of the mind, which is always and already calm. And this meditation gives access to that.
What's the basis? Oh, it's a good answer. What's the basis of that hypothesis that there is calmness at depth? And is there also a scholastic write-in that supports the idea of these three types of meditation in addition to the scientific analysis?
Yes. The first question, the hypothesis, what's the, how can we make that assumption? Well, we already know that there's a vertical direct dimension to the mind. We feel things deeply. We love deeply. We hurt deeply. You have an intuition. Russell, someone comes to you and they want to pitch a television idea, and it makes perfectly good sense on the surface. But then somewhere afterwards, when you're just sort of by yourself thinking deeply, your intuition says, I don't think so, Jack. That feeling level, quiet feeling level. So the hypothesis is even deeper than that, far deeper than that, is a level where your mind is already always calm and settled and peaceful and alert. And people have been talking about this for eons. True happiness lies within. The kingdom of heaven is within. Lao Tzu, actually the Old Testament, Isaiah 42 says, be still and know that I am God. Einstein wrote about this. So it's that transcendent experience common throughout time. It's just has been too rare.
You think deep within our individual nature, and maybe we can assume our collective nature, is a peace that surpasses all understanding, and that through TM we can access it? Yes.
It's throughout time. The idea is that the deepest level of my nature is an interface with the deepest level of nature's nature. I mean, you've had people talk about this, the idea of, in physics, the idea of a unified field, of an underlying field that is the foundation of all matter and force fields in the universe. Einstein was looking at the end of his life to unify all the fundamental force fields in nature, and he called it a unified field. Well, in the ancient meditation texts, they talk basically about a unified field of consciousness. From the standpoint of physics, one could never access that field. You could never have a linear accelerator large enough to be able to access that, like there are instrumentations to access the fields of electromagnetism. That's why we're communicating. So, or the field of gravity. So the ancient texts would say, yeah, but the human brain, the human nervous system is that instrument in nature that could access that field at that transcendent, quietest level. So the deepest level of my own nature and the deepest level of your nature and the deepest level of nature's nature, one and the same. And when I access that, then it enlivens all the qualities, I like to say all the sort of the best qualities of life. It reduces stress, but more than that, it wakes up compassion, kindness, insight, power, strength, discernment, all the sort of the higher values of human life has been talked about forever. Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all else will be added unto thee. That's the language of religion, but you can have the same language in poetry, in arts, in science, anywhere.
Do you think that human beings, even prior to civilization, would have sought out these kind of states? You know, like 100,000 years ago, when we're living hunter-gatherer lifestyles.
It might have been just naturally accessible. The thing is it might not have been that we had to carve out time in order to do that. We might have been so in tune with nature, with the flow in the seasons and the sunlight, everything, that we might have just naturally lived that. There is, and you and I have talked about this in the Bhagavad Gita, and also the which is a Vedic text, and also even in the Hopi Indians, where they talk about 4 ages. Kali Yuga is the dark age, all the way up to this is just philosophical, but then you have the Sat Yuga, which is the golden age. And they say there have been times in society where naturally human beings lived in accordance with the laws of nature. And we're now in Kali Yuga. And that would be like the full sunshine of the day, like noonday sun. Surprise, we would be, according to the text, in Kali Yuga, which is a dark time, where the light has to come from inside and not outside. And I think that's why there's so much interest now in meditation, because people are looking for stability, they're looking for something true, and they're not finding it in the outside world, so it's driving them inside.